Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Avenue podcast. This is our 8th podcast. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to have some pretty interesting topics. Today, we're going to be talking about underrated anime, favorite and least favorite thing about anime, and lastly, what everyone's coming here for, Black Clover versus My Hero Academia. So let's get this started, boys. I'm here with the usual gang, Kid Otaku and Pro Zypher. Say what's up, boys.
Gang, nah, I'm saying a whole lot of gang
What's
shit,
up,
bro,
boys?
Whoa, I didn't mean to say that. Okay, so we'll start off with our usual stuff. Our What's Been Going On segment. So, Zypher, you can start it off. What's been going on? What have you been doing? What's up, brother?
Dude, I hate you. I hate him so much sometimes. But I've been doing still been doing my Yu-Gi-Oh read through. I'm actually finally finished like the first part of it, which is like I forget what it's the duel section of it. I'm starting to get into the duelist, which is part where everyone's saying that's where like Yu-Gi-Oh really starts picking up. So I've been continuing my read through for Yu-Gi-Oh, which has been pretty enjoyable. I've been enjoying it so far. I just got to the part where they're entering the duelist kingdom and they're both doing it. For Yugi has to save his grandpa and Junichi is to help his blind sister. So that's where I'm at right now. In terms of anime, you know, the same seasonal stuff that we've been watching, SSS Gridman, the Bunny Girl. I actually have like a little bit. I'll talk about Bunny Girl a little bit after, which is honestly after JoJo probably one of my favorite series that I recommend anyone to watch. It's really really like it's actually like blowing me away how enjoyable it is. It really gives me like Snafu vibes if you've ever seen that, which is like My Teen Rom-Com. But other than that, just been watching the typical anime, doing my thing on YouTube, and that's pretty much it.
Dang, that's what's up. Just keeping up with that grind. I like to hear it. All right, Kid Otaku, what have you been up to?
Pretty
Let's
much
get
the
the
usual.
lowdown.
Pretty much the usual, same as last week. Keeping up with all the anime that I'm watching this season. I'm probably gonna look into checking out Bunny Girl because I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it, and since Zypher just was talking about like you know
Yeah.
how it's one of his best animes he's watching this season, I might just look into it because a lot of people say that it throws you off where you look at the promotional art of the series. A lot of people expect it to be that, but it's something completely different. So I'm definitely gonna check that anime out. But like other than that, it's just same thing as last week, really.
Dang. Just kicking butt and taking names.
You know it.
Alright. Well, I've been up to the usual, just killing it in the game, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, you wanna like not do that anymore?
Okay. I've just been watching the normal stuff, the seasonal stuff that I've been watching, and me and Zypher watched some One Piece yesterday.
Oh, he's on that good stuff. He just got to that Robin
Yeah.
backstory. It brought back all my emotions. I'm like, God damn it, it's all
He
what's
was
happening.
literally crying.
Yeah, I was, dude. Robin's backstory is one of the saddest things, dude. I was literally in tears. Like tears were dripping down my face.
I was trying to watch, and all I hear is.
Okay, it wasn't that. But like I just remember like Habit finishing like the whole thing, and then I'm like, "What'd you think, Habit?" And you're like, "Holy shit, dude!"
I was just like, damn. I didn't even know what to say about that. Other than that, just been watching some normal stuff as well. I tried to get Zypher to watch the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix with me,
Oh, hell
but
no.
he got scared on the first episode.
No, well, it was a combination of that and like it was like 2 a.m. and I was tired.
Yeah, I'm only like 3 episodes into it. It's pretty good, actually. I can see why people are rating it so highly. Um, Other than that, I mean, even the seasonal stuff this week, not a crazy amount really happened, honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
all
because
kind of just average episodes.
yeah, Goblin Slayer was like, it's more like if it kind of felt like a filler episode, I'm gonna be honest, because we were getting insight on like other characters and their journey inside like the cave and like whatever
I
was going
think
on with
this
them.
this episode was more. I feel like I don't know if it was really a filler episode, but
No,
they were really focusing on that couple, and I feel like they might be
no.
somewhat important later on because they were focusing on that couple that were like trying to fight off the rats, and I'm like, are we like Rat Slayer now? Like, what's going on here?
No, what I mean by filler, I mean it's like paying attention to something else instead of focusing on like the main story. Not saying, oh yeah, this isn't canon to the story because I'm pretty sure this is in the manga.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not something that we've seen from the previous episode where we saw them hunt down that ogre and everything. But next episode looks like it's going to be pretty good because he got a mysterious letter in the mail, so we're going to see exactly what's going to be going on with that because
That's actually a concern. Someone just said in the comment section, Goblin Slayer just skipped like 2 whole arcs. If that's the case, that kind of sucks. But I feel like what they might be doing, and this is what a lot of anime tend to do, even My
Mix
Hero
it
does
up.
it, is they literally rearrange the order of how they go about things. So maybe they want to, since it's only gonna be like a 13 episode season, they want to get rid of like the less interesting bits early on. So like the
Mhm.
more interesting arcs, which I'm assuming the 2 arcs that you're talking about are probably important.
Yeah.
They want to save for towards the end of the season, so that's what
Yeah.
they might be doing. But in
Yeah, 'cause they
terms
need-
of, I
it-
mean, SAO, I actually appreciated this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it was another build up and like stuff happening,
Yeah.
but like I like the fact that Asuna is actually doing something for once. Like,
Mhm.
like she's been like literally vacant since season 1. Like literally season 1 she hasn't done shit. Season 2 she was basically absent, and now she's actually playing a huge role. While like Kirito's stuck in the virtual world, she's actually getting stuff done, tracking him down. She's playing like at least like 50% of the role in this arc, and I heard that this whole arc is literally the entire 50 episodes, which is a good thing. I like a continuous story, not just different little tiny story arcs. So I'm glad that Asuna's finally being useful and doing something. So I'm looking forward to what she does next.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
one more thing about Goblin Slayer, though, or we can call it now Poon Slayer,
Or
is
Harem Slayer,
he
I guess.
finally took a quest that wasn't a goblin slaying quest. What do you think about that? His
Did he? He
observer
didn't really
thing.
take a quest.
Yeah, it was a
That
quest.
wasn't really.
It was because he got paid for it from the guild.
He's getting development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
he gave some people advice on how to get his sword back.
And we also come to learn that literally every single girl in the show has a crush on him.
Yeah, Poon Slayer.
Yeah. Yeah, I could put it pretty...
I'm actually like curious as to like what's like. I want to see his face because like it's like something that I feel like that's like everyone's curious about, even the girls.
Then he's just
Just
hot.
What if he's like ugly? And they're all like, "Oh, never mind. I don't like you anymore."
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, that could be the case. You never know.
Yeah. It was also kind of cool seeing the sorcerer like paradise kind of in Radiant.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
yeah,
I brought
for
this
sure.
up. I brought this up in the Goblin Slayer episode, bro. Can women's knockers actually carry that much stuff? Like she literally pulls out an entire scroll out of in between her cleavage. I was like, God damn, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a magician, dude. It's like,
Oh, okay.
you ever
she's
seen
like,
those,
oh,
like-
she's like Momo. She's like Momo from I Hear I Could. She could just make things appear out of her chest.
you seen the like magician hats and stuff, like where they just pull like a bunch of stuff out of their hat? It's like that, but her
Mhm.
boobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah,
like the
makes
stuff that
sense.
Habit was talking about with Radiant, I'm actually really excited to like to see where that goes and everything because pretty much with this recent episode of Radiant, like it was a pretty funny episode seeing the interaction between Seth, Melly, and Doc when they arrived to that kingdom and they met the yellow cat, and then
And he
Seth
tried
and
to
Melly.
trick them.
Yeah, he tried to trick them, and then they ended up being in debt because of the scroll that they signed.
Yeah,
And
and he
then
doesn't even
Melly-
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then Melly ends up like blowing up like a bar because she got into a fight, and then they have to pay over like $1 million and stuff. Because I really like Melly's character. I like the whole split personality thing she has, because she has this thing where she's under stress or she gets nervous or whatever it is, she ends up like
Going
turning
whole.
into
No,
like
no, no. It's
somebody
always, no, no, no.
completely.
It's always the opposite of how her pet is feeling. So if the pet is too happy, she's gonna be like extremely angry, and if she gets extremely angry, her pet will always be happy.
Yeah,
So it always swaps when she hits that tipping point. If
Yeah.
her personality flips, and
yeah.
I feel like that's
pretty
gonna
much.
become a character trait where she's gonna try to overcome that because she probably doesn't like the fact that it happened.
I mean, she's cursed.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly what caused the curse. I'm pretty sure we'll get some insight on it, because I heard from a friend today that she has some pretty good moments soon, and I'm excited to see exactly what that is. But like
Yeah.
the thing that got me excited the most was like towards the end, where we saw like the general that was in charge of like Dragonov, like the other
Yeah.
guy that Seth met in the previous episode. I want to see exactly why they want to capture Seth, because a lot of people
because
talk
of his
about
horns.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like interested in him.
Yeah.
Because
It's because he
people-
can do his magic with his bare hands and he has horns. I have a feeling the
Yeah.
horns have to do with something about those like nemesis things.
Yeah, possibly.
Imagine he's just like half human, half nemesis. Then he transforms.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's something like it sounds like the series would do.
He turns Ben 10 and uses his Omnitrix and turns into an alien.
Possible.
All right, this isn't SSS Gridman.
Possibly. I don't know.
All
That's
right.
literally what SSS Gridman is.
All right, you guys want to jump into the first topic? It's
Yeah,
gonna be underrated anime, what we think maybe doesn't get as much spotlight as we think it should, or just something we don't really hear people talking about. You can take it away, Zypher.
All right, so I feel like if you guys are wondering how we're gonna do this, before we get into the My Hero Black Clover debate, we have a couple of topics that we're gonna talk about ahead of time, but
Yeah.
we're each gonna talk about an anime that we each think is an underrated series. For me personally, which in my opinion is easily the best sports anime, out of all the animes that I have watched at least, is Diamond No Ace. Ace of Diamond, if you wanted the English translation, is one of the most underrated anime because there's only me and a few friends that I've recommended to that have watched it, and literally no one else that I could think of besides a few friends that have seen it in the community. It is like easily one of the most slept on series, and it's a studio that does it really well. It's a combination of Madhouse and Production IG, the guys who did Haikyuu. So those studios came together and made Diamond No Ace. It's a series that's going on for almost 10 years. The first part of the manga is done, and it's such a fantastic series. And if someone was wondering um as to why like no one talks about it, or not no one talks about like why the series, like what's different from every other sports anime, right? And because like obviously you could give the easy answers like, oh, this is a different sport, but like in Ace of Diamonds spec is like these high school students, and this is what I love about it, is the fact they live in dorms, and like you see their bond grow as they live together, eat together, how they train together, and how they motivate each other, always constantly having baseball on their mind because they're like one of the top schools, and to be able to achieve that top ranking to go to nationals and such as, they have to like always be together, always ready to play baseball. So as soon as before and after class, they're just nonstop playing baseball. But it just to see their bond grow together, and I think this is something personally that hits for me, is like what I like to see in any show, right? Like for example, for My Hero Academia, it's Class 1A. For One Piece, it's the Straw Hat Crew. I just love seeing a bond between this huge cast of characters and how they just, whatever their plot is, whatever their story is, and how they progress off of each other. And I feel like I don't see that as often in other series. Like Haikyuu does it too, but I feel like it's a different when like they're literally living together as a team. But I feel like that's why Ace of Diamond is a very underrated series. I know how about you're watching it.
Yeah.
You're like really early on in the series.
Yeah, I think I've only watched honestly a few episodes, like maybe 5, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can see why people like it. I have a couple like discrepancies with it, but I I mean, it's still good. Like, don't get me wrong. I still think it's would probably be like a top tier when I finish watching it because it is very well constructed in the sense of like story and the characters, and like you said, kind of like the whole team matters. They're staying in a dorm together. They're all trying to get better. I mean, kind of like what you would really
and
do
there's
if
so
you were
much
in a top
drama.
school.
Yeah, and then there's like so much drama involved too. Like there's like people who get injured and how that affects the entire team. There's someone that has family issues going on, like there's abuse, so like he can't make it for practice anymore, or like there's just all these things that happen that like the whole team has to overcome together. And but then there's like what builds it up even more is like when you get to the other opposing teams, and then you get their backstory. So now you care about the enemy team more, and that's like the thing that was so difficult about Domino Ace is like it gives you always incentive to love the opposite enemy team, and it's so difficult sometimes to even root for your own team because the opposing team, like one of the characters will have like the most saddest backstory, and now you want that person, but like to see them fail after all they've overcome, and but like at the same time like you're following your own cast of characters, right? So it becomes so conflictive, and that's what's like so amazing about it.
So, for as far as like Diamond No Ace goes, do they start playing like college or like triple A like baseball? Like,
I'm not sure. As far where Diamond No Ace, like so Diamond No Ace is like them in high school, and
mm-hmm.
then up to nationals, and so Diamond No Ace Part 2 is supposed to be from the national onwards. So I'm not sure if they've gone pro yet, but I know they all dreamed of going pro, whatever. So, because I haven't read the manga at all, because I enjoyed the
Yeah,
anime so much that I've been waiting for the anime. But I've heard something like that, where apparently like
interesting.
they go off into
Yeah, because
beyond nationals.
that would be different. What would be cool is when, like, if they go to, like, college or something, like, following the main guy, but then still seeing the other people at wherever they ended up, too, you know? So it's
Oh
like,
yeah, that's like the other interesting part is like you know how like there's obviously like there's like third years, second years, and first years.
yeah,
When the third years, well, like because like it's a continuous cycle where new players are coming in,
yeah,
and when you see the third years graduate and like how they've gone into professional baseball, but then it's so like it's such an amazing feeling because like now that bond is gone. But then when they're playing for nationals and those third years came back to watch their game and how much it means for them because the third years taught the second years, like it's like so crazy like that, and that's why I think the series has gone so long. The first season's like 75, the second is like 25 50.
yeah. I mean, so another thing, too, is, so usually when you play high school baseball, you don't really go directly to the pros. You usually play like a triple A, which is like kind of like semi-professional. I mean, there's like double A and like triple A. I mean, they'd be more playing at like a double A type level. So like the next level would be like triple A, which could be like college baseball or like semi like professional. Like they have like local teams and stuff that play in the US and stuff. So there's like for example, like you could have a New York like amateur team, and a lot of the time those people get scouted into kind of like the training stuff for like the Yankees, for example, in New York. So it'd be interesting if they made an approach like that. Again, there's definitely differences in the sport in Japan.
I think the way they did it is literally every single high school was like involved in it, like in all
Yeah,
entirety of Japan. And the way they did is like every region was trying to qualify for nationals, and then to get into nationals, it was like the top 20 teams or
yeah.
something like that.
So I'm sure they
Then
already proved themselves, in a sense, to be able to be directly taken from high school into kind of pros.
yeah, I think they're going in between that. I don't know how far they've gone because I'm probably gonna end up picking up the manga if the anime doesn't come back soon. So I'd be able to give you a better answer later on.
All right. So yeah, his is Diamond No Ace. So Kid Otaku, what is yours?
Um, my The underrated anime I'm gonna choose, and I talked about it before in the past, is probably Yoshiro Totoro.
In the hot springs.
Yeah, Yuna and the Hot Springs.
Mm.
But it's like I heard about Yoshiro Totoro from one of my friends. He's like, "Yeah, kid, you should check it out and see what it's about and everything." And I watched the first season of it, and I really liked it because it has that classic shonen feel, and I'm attached to a lot of like classic series because I grew up with a lot of them.
Show the
Because
No,
this series came out in like 1990. It actually came out before Yu Yu Hakusho, and
Yeah.
Tagashi was actually inspired by this series because if you have seen Hunter x Hunter and if you've seen Yu Yu Hakusho and you've seen Yoshiro Totoro, you can tell that Tagashi like took some things from there to put into his story. Like if it came
Yeah.
to like certain creatures in there or the certain environment or pretty much like personality traits from the main character and such. It was actually like pretty interesting to like find that out from a lot of people, but it's like it's one of those series that not that many people really know about unless you ask them, "Oh, hey, do you have any suggestions for like any anime that I should watch?" And then they end up bringing Shishiro Totoro up because it originally had like 3 or 4 OVAs that came out, and this was like in the 90s, and that's honestly all it was. It didn't really adapt like the full story, and I believe that's when the manga was still ongoing, so they probably didn't have that much content to adapt back then.
Yeah.
But it eventually got remastered, just like how Hunter x Hunter did like a couple years ago. Like you had the classic Hunter x Hunter 1999, and then it eventually got the 2011 anime for it. That's pretty much like the same thing that happened with Shoot Party. You had the classic OVAs that came out for it, and then eventually it got remastered, and it had 2 seasons, and it adapted the full story, which is like 39 episodes. It was actually done by Studio Mappa, and Studio Mappa has worked on like other series before, such as we got Shingeki no Bahamut. It worked on Yuri on Ice, which I'm pretty sure people know what that series is. This is one that came out recently. I'm not sure if I could pronounce it. It's like in Yasha Shash Inu Shashiki.
Yashiki. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one with the old man in it. It
Yeah.
did work on that one. It did Hajime no Ippo, which is a popular sports series, and it's been around for such a long. It has like 1,000 chapters and such, and it's also doing Zombieland Saga, which is an anime that recently premiered this fall season. So the animation from the studio looks really good, and I really like the certain scenes that are shown in Yoshiro Totoro because it looks really good. The work that the studio put into it, but it's like I don't know, just like an interesting story because I'm pretty much into those type of stories that revolves around mythology or like stuff in history, and then you explore those certain things like that. That's the sort of thing I'm interested in. And Yoshiro Totoro like takes some things from there, and it has its own little twist on it.
Yeah. So, do you watch the Fate series? Because they
Um,
do kind of like that. Like all of their characters are based on characters in history, which is pretty interesting.
no, I've never watched Fate at all. I'm
Dang.
looking into it. There's a lot of series that I still need to check out that
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen, but I'm definitely looking into that, of course.
And they adapted all of Ushio Totoro.
Yeah, the remastered season for season 1 and season 2, it's
Yeah.
all adapted.
That's interesting. I actually didn't know that. I thought there was still more to it, but
Dude, there's like the
That's
most
what I
unfortunate
thought.
thing about series is like it never getting a conclusion in the anime.
Yeah, but I like the conclusion to them. Like I'm not gonna say like
So
what
the anime
happened, but-
conclusion is the conclusion to the manga.
Yeah, pretty much like the same thing that happened in the manga is the exact same thing that happened in the anime. Like
That's
I
good.
know most studios like switch things up where they give its own anime original ending or they had some in canon filler, but pretty much everything from the manga is in the anime like from scratch. which is
Yeah.
like really good that it's just stuck to the source material.
Yeah, I also like you talked about it, Togashi getting inspiration. I always like shonen because they kind of like pay homage to the people that kind of like created the scene in a sense. I always
Mm-hmm.
love seeing those like kind of shots to the past, you know what I mean? Like Dragon Ball. A lot of people like reference Dragon Ball. A lot of people reference One Piece. You know, kind of like
Yeah.
the big things that have like shaped it. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
like. That's what draws me to still watch shonen now, is because even as the like stuff progresses, they still like pay homage to like what came before it. So you still see that progression of the genre, but you're also like seeing new stuff in a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely for sure.
So mine probably nobody has watched, but it's Tamako Market, and it's kind of like a slice of life, but so Tamako Market has an anime, and then it has a movie called Tamako Love Story. So the original anime is just basically a slice of life with like subtle like romance into it, but it doesn't focus on romance, and then the actual movie does, which is awesome. So I would say like the original series is like above average, but the movie is awesome. So it kind of like lumps the two together, but essentially she's like going to school, helping like run her parents' shop. They have a mochi shop, and basically it's like her interaction with her childhood friend, which is also like kind of her neighbor. They live in like the same area. So um the the first season kind of just focuses on just a typical like kind of slice of life, not really episodic, but a little bit episodic in times, but it's basically her just like living her life. I mean, some people aren't really interested in slice of life, and I can understand why, because in a lot of cases not a lot happens, but there's definitely some good story. And then when you go into Tamako Love Story, you have the whole romance that you were kind of waiting for, hoping for during the whole anime, and they do like a really, really, really good job on it because it shows a lot of flashbacks from the past, a lot of stuff. It's just like kind of one of those like just chill, kind of like cute watches that I really like. Not a lot of people talk about it. It's not extremely popular. Don't really know many people in the community who have watched it, but it's definitely one that if you like slice of life or like romance, you should definitely give a shot, because like I said, the first part doesn't really focus on romance, but the second part does, and the movie is awesome. So yeah, you guys want to move on to the next topic, because I know we kind of spent quite a bit of time on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
So the next topic is going to be our favorite and least favorite thing about anime. I guess this is kind of like a broad question. It can kind of be like a mix between anime and content creation and like things towards that line, just kind of like anime and the community, I guess, if you want to make it a little bit more broad. You can start us off, Zypher. Show us what
Okay.
you got.
Okay, since I'm starting up everything today. In terms of like my favorite thing about anime, well, I think the one thing I could say about for anime is the people and the community that I've come to found, and now I met all of you guys, everybody in the community, all thanks to anime. And if I never came across it, probably would have never met any of you guys.
So
But
that's your least favorite thing?
yeah,
Is
but
meeting everyone.
but yeah, so like besides that, like obviously being able to discover and find all my friends through anime is, I feel like in terms of like I always watch movies, but I moved on from them. You know, like TV shows felt okay with them, but and even video games. Like I still to this day enjoy video games, but it, personally to me, I feel like nothing like a genre of something has never like appealed
Yeah.
to me so much as it did anime, because it felt like there's so much more. Like there's always like a message, like you could always find some sort of symbolism, and it's always this thing with like from Japan, these Japanese writers who make comics, they always take it, I feel like, to the another next level, to push that to the next point where it involves you so much more into the character. They make it so much more relatable to you, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's why I fell in love with the anime in the first place. Besides the community too, but least favorite, I'd honestly have to say these like controversial debates that always happen, and
Whoa,
like
whoa, whoa.
people
We're
get
about to
so
get in
like
a debate, dude. You can't say that.
but like the people who are like always take this shit too seriously, like I've seen people destroy their friendships over disagreements of like One Piece and stuff like that, and I feel like it's so stupid. Like obviously even us as friends, like we've always had our major disagreements about series, but at the end of the day we know it's just an anime, and we shouldn't let our friendship like change that. And I've seen
Yeah.
it happen time and time again where people are too passionate about the series they love, and over a simple disagreement, they would destroy their friendship over it. So I feel like it's like the thing about like the community is probably the best and the worst thing, to be honest, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Like what you were saying though as well about like kind of like the people that write all of the stuff and the people that are creating the anime, like when you look at it in a sense, like there's a lot more progression when it comes to anime versus like regular American TV or like American movies and stuff, because you can see like the progression from like the 90s or like the early 2000s, like in some cases like the dubs and even some of the subs are kind of like the voice acting is kind of cheesy, no one really, you know, is very comfortable yet in a sense, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean like the equipment and the stuff wasn't in the right place for it. Like there was
Wow.
like the budget, the money behind it wasn't there. Like they probably didn't have the best equipment. It was like still looked down upon, and I think it wasn't late until like I would say I think around like 2008, 2010, around there is when like it started picking up and becoming more acceptable, and they're starting, and like these companies starting to realize, wait, there's like money to be made here, and they start investing more and more, and now here we are in 2018, and anime is slowly making its way to the West, becoming one of the biggest subgenres in the West, even.
Zypher, I have the real question from the people. Why wasn't your phone on mute? Who was calling you?
My aunt.
Answer. Call back
uh,
on the
already hung.
podcast.
You sure?
Ask her what she thinks about this topic. Ask her
I
what
don't think
her favorite and her least favorite thing about anime is.
Yeah, I don't know about
Let's see what
that.
she-
But yeah, also like towards the line of the friends and stuff, like you went to Anime Expo, you've met quite a few people. I mean, we hung out, and you went to Disney
and I
World
honestly,
with me.
yeah, and honestly could say like those like vacations were some of the best times of my life. When me and Habit went to Disney World. Disney World in itself was my first experience. Habit, probably, I think he's the first online friend that I actually met in real life and hung out with. Actually, no, I take that back. I met someone in Saudi Arabia one time.
You also met
That-
someone who lives near you too.
okay, we're not talking about that. Okay. But there, and then also with Anime Expo, like all these people that I've surrounded myself with in the last couple of years, that meeting them and having that face-to-face interaction with it's a really cool and weird feeling at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I have met people in the past. So I was in the gaming community before that. I'd met quite a few people from there before, but definitely like the anime community is a lot different. Like I feel like it's a lot closer versus like any other community, which is awesome. That would definitely be a pro in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I feel like because there's like there's video games, there's so much you could talk about the video game, right? With the anime, you could talk about forever, and I feel like since we've spent so much time, when we finally meet up, it felt like nothing's changed. You know, like when you knew me, Matt, we talked for like a year, like we got like really close, just always
Yeah.
talking about whatever,
Yeah.
and we're like me and Habit related to like more than just anime. Like we talked about video games, all this stuff. Like literally everything we've almost done similar things like way before we even met. So like when we first met, it was like talking Discord. It wasn't any different. It felt like the same conversation we've always held. And I feel like that's gonna be the same thing with Kid when we finally meet when he comes around next Anime Expo.
Yeah,
It's like it's not gonna feel any
you
different.
guys created a lot of memories of each other.
you even gave me a free haircut.
Oh, yeah. If you guys don't know about that, Habit for whatever reason was like it was like too hot in Florida. This man literally like, yo, just shave my head off. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, go for it. I'm like,
I was
"All
gonna
right."
do it anyway, but
And
it's
then-
just
and
funny
then-
because you can't mess it up. Because like then I was like, so it was like a 2 razor. I mean, I'm not gonna get too in depth with it, but it's basically the same length all the way around. So
Yeah, but
he
it was
couldn't
funny
mess
because
anything
his
up.
grandma got worried the fact that I was cutting his hair, and she's like, "What are you guys doing?" It was a good time.
Yeah, and we recorded a video. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, let's move on. Kid, what's your
Yeah.
favorite and least favorite thing about anime?
Probably have to say the people that I met in the anime community, like
Wow,
meeting you
just
guys and
copy
other
us.
people as well.
Just copy.
But like
it.
my least favorite thing in the anime, I mean in the anime community in general, is like the slander all the time. Because the slander is like mad annoying. Keep in mind, I only do it for memes. I
No,
don't do
you're
it.
annoying. Take
Yeah, like
it
I
back.
only do it for memes, but there's actually people out there that actually go on Twitter or they go on YouTube or whatever social media website they decide to use, and they just dedicate their whole entire day just slandering stuff because
What I hate about
like
the
the
anime
greatest
community
thing
about
ever.
like that too, especially, is the fact that they could genuinely feel that way, right? And then when you call them out on something, they'd be like, "Dude, I was
Yeah.
just joking. Stop taking it so seriously."
Yeah,
And it's every single time. You're telling me every interaction I've ever had with someone slandering, you're telling
It's
me every
just a
single
joke.
time you were joking? Dude, that is bullshit. I don't take that shit.
No,
That
there's
is literally
there's
the
always
easiest
truth
fallback.
behind- Yeah, there's always truth behind it. Like you're obviously doing it for a reason because you want to get a reaction out of people and you want to get those followers.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. It's
It's-
like because that's why people slander My Hero because it's so big right now and it's getting bigger and bigger every single day. So if you go on Twitter and you start slandering that series, there's going to be a whole bunch of people like following you and waiting for your next tweet, like what you're going to say next. And I just find it annoying because you legit see it on the timeline like every single day.
Yeah, it's like those kids that like talk crap in like the YouTube comments to like a big YouTuber, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Wow, this video was so retarded, and next time you should do this better." And then like the dude like responds or something and is like, "Wow, that was a little bit harsh" or something, and then he's like, "Oh, I was just kidding. I love you. Do you think you can follow me back on Twitter?"
Oh, dude, I've seen that
Yeah.
happen on like FaZe Rain, where like he would talk mad shit about the guy, and then FaZe Rain would literally just be like, "Come on, dude." And he's like, "Oh my god, you responded. I'm such a huge fan." I'm like, "Oh no."
Dude, I
Like,
love
like
that.
they just do that shit to get their touch. Yo, if I ever get to that point where like people are like talking shit about me to get my attention, I'm just not even gonna ever respond
Nah,
to like that
don't
shit.
even it's not even worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like what we were saying. Definitely the best part about the community in some cases, are the people. Definitely always you're going to find those people that you're not going to get along with or whatever, but altogether a lot of the people are pretty positive and not very toxic, kind of like other communities, but
I feel like it comes down to, it's like, I feel like every community is toxic. It just comes down to who you choose to surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I'm gonna find a new group of friends. Bye, guys.
Yeah. All right, this was the last podcast. Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much.
Thanks for watching. Oh, I'll switch the screen. Thanks for watching, guys. No.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, is it finally time for the topic everyone's been waiting for?
All right. Drum
Yeah,
roll,
it's time.
please. All right. we're gonna talk about what you all have been waiting for.
Yeah.
Gurren Lagann versus Code Geass. No, I'm kidding.
The biggest debate going on right now at a
I can't take that
podcast
seriously.
near you.
Jeez, I can't
No
take
more.
Black Clover versus My
Look at
Hero
that, seriously.
Academia. Fight. All right. Let's keep it real, guys. So this is slightly clickbait. It's not totally clickbait, but
No, okay. So to bring it, the bottom line is we are gonna talk about our thoughts on this debate, but we're not gonna be talking about what we actually think is better, the Black Clover or My Hero. This is not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about why this is so popular and why it's a stupid thing to talk about.
Got
Take
you,
it away, kid.
suckers.
Oh yeah, you want to start with me, man?
You're in the
Actually,
hot
you
seat.
want to start with me. Like honestly, one of the main reasons why this debate is currently going on right now is, of course, these are like the two big,
two-ish?
yeah, the twoist.
Oh, okay.
The two new big shonen series that are out right now, which is My Hero Academia and Black Clover, and people want to talk about, oh, who's better, Asta or Deku? Who's better, Noel or El Chaco?
The answer
Who's
is
better,
Asta.
Todoroki?
All Might or Yami.
Yeah, All Might or Yami. Like, you constantly see debates like that all the time on Twitter. And it kind of reminds me, like, back then, like, when I was getting into anime, when the Naruto and Bleach Wars went on all the time. Like, that was legit a thing.
Yeah,
back
no one
then.
bought One Piece into it because it was
always-
just the big goat. No one even bothered.
They always went back and forth with one another. And then, One Piece was in its own lane. One Piece was like, I'll just let fight. I don't really care what's going on. I'm gonna be taking your spot anyway. I mean, I've already had the spot since I came out, but I'll let you guys fight. And now, look, One Piece is the top dog, and Naruto and Bleach are dead serious right now. So it's like, people just if you want me to honestly like give my like opinion on like the Black Clover versus My Hero Academia debates, I think one of the main reasons why they do it is because they want to get attention out of it, or they want to say something about whatever it is, so they can get a reaction out of somebody. Because there's My Hero Academia fans that are going to attack Black Clover fans for saying something about Deku, and then there's going to be Black Clover fans attacking My Hero Academia fans if they say something about Asta. That's just how it's always been. And with like every single fan base that you encounter, you say something about the MC or whatever's occurring in the story, there's always going to be that toxic fan base that you encounter.
I mean, I think the bottom line is that people find their own reasons to why they attach themselves to a certain series and why they like it more, and then they get their passion is so strong for whatever series that when someone says anything about it, they personally feel offended, and then they feel like they need to say something about their favorite series, and it's this never-ending thing that it's gonna go on for years, with however long.
Yeah.
I think the Black Clover author said he's planning to make it like long as One Piece. Like he's not ending anytime soon. The My Hero Academia author, I think around 150 chapters, said he's only 10% done. So he has like another 10-15 years.
Yeah.
So these two series are gonna be going on for like at least both like around another decade, and we're gonna be seeing this build up more and more as both sides garner more fans.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know
for sure.
You want to know what I always wonder, though? It's like how these arguments even come to fruition. Because, like, if you just really think about it, like, you really think about it hard, like, Black Clover's just better, so there's no reason to even have the argument.
Exactly.
No, but I think most of the time it literally comes down to like majority of the time, most of the people who are doing it have only seen the other series.
Yeah.
One or the other.
No,
It's
here's
just
the
so
thing I'm gonna
stupid
bring
to
up,
see.
Zypher. Here's the thing I'm gonna bring up. If you're gonna have a debate between two series, you at least need to be caught up with two series, so you can have like an actual argument between whatever's going on. Like if you want to compare this certain part to a story, if you want to compare this certain part of the story to something that happened to MHA, if you want to make a comparison to Black Clover, you should at least be knowledgeable parts, not just say something about My Hero and then not knowing what goes on in Black Clover, or like the same thing of Black Clover saying something about Black Clover, but not knowing what's going on in Black Clover, because it just makes people look stupid at that point.
The one thing though that I do have to say, at least it's a valid point, like bringing Black Clover against My Hero. Like the people that just say the stuff about Boruto, like you just have bad taste, you know, just watch better anime. But at least if you're talking about Black Clover and My Hero, at least we know you're a little bit serious about watching shonen. Like if you're still watching Naruto and Boruto, you might be a little bit stuck in the past, bud. But
no, I feel like a lot of people who watch Boruto are like so attached to that world, like, and blinded by nostalgia.
What it is,
And
like Dragon Ball
same...
Super.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people are like sometimes just get blinded by nostalgia. No one is saying you can't enjoy the series, but like people put this series on such a pedestal. Like I'm pretty sure like Yonko made a video on why Boruto is a failure. And now when he was talking about why Boruto is a failure, it's like, no, he wasn't saying that it sucked. It genuinely has been a failure. No one, like on a majority basis, is watching it. There is no traction towards it. No one's buying figures. No one's selling merch. Like it just isn't. And then when you look at something like My Hero Academia, which is literally a worldwide phenomenon. Like I could not look one direction in Anime Expo where I could not see My Hero Academia. The movie was premiering. There was figures everywhere, merch in every single panel. My Hero Academia has literally taken over the West. That is what you call success.
That was like Haikyuu. That was like Haikyuu 2 years ago.
Well, I feel like
Haikyuu was nuts as well.
Yeah, and especially I'm not sure if you said this, but of course it's about superheroes and such. We know that's a big thing in the West, so a lot of people are gonna be checking it out. I mean, look when the MCU films come out. Look at when Infinity War like came out. That movie got so huge in the box office because everybody just loves Spider-Man, Iron Man, and all. Like superheroes have always been a popular thing for like many years.
And I mean, again, like you said,
and I've seen that so many people do this too.
Yeah,
is there's like obviously I feel like there's already like a few million people. Like, what's a good estimate? You say like a population of the West is like watches anime at least like around like 10 million, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Because like 1 to 2 million are like 2 million people are subscribed to Crunchyroll, and I would say at least that's only like 20%, and that's
I guess you got a point there. I was like kind of thinking about it for a second, and I was like, is it that big? But yeah, I guess when you think about it, it really is.
2 million people, and and you got to think majority of people are probably not subscribed to Crunchyroll. They probably watch it at least. So it's around at least at the very minimum, got to be 10 million people, right? Now imagine those 10 million fans who are super passionate about anime, right? And now they want to get their friends and their family involved in it, but they can't find the right anime. People find it weird or get put off by it. My Hero Academia, especially the dub, so they don't get thrown off by it with the Japanese sub. They could show them the dub. They're like, oh, you love superheroes? Here's just like cartoon-esque anime, like this thing called anime, where it's about high school kids who have superpowers. You show them that, and they're like, yo, this is cool. They catch up to My Hero Academia. They start falling in love with that specific genre, and they're like, yo, dude, show me another anime.
And then they start off with an actual good anime.
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
Dude, but Dan actually says it like pretty good in the chat. He said, not every anime needs to be top tier to be good, aka Black Clover is being generic to a degree, and it is what makes it enjoyable to watch. I mean, I said this a little bit earlier, is that, like, I like when I see something that takes, like, the old shonen kind of, like, roots and does stuff with it. And, honestly, I do think Black Clover does it. That being said, it probably is pretty generic. I mean, I've heard people say it, but generic doesn't really mean it's bad.
I mean, that's what My Hero Academia is. Like, My Hero Academia is nothing original. It's just the fact that it takes all those tropes and it just does it so well. It's so cliche. Like, for example, one of the publisher admits, I don't want to say the character's name and what like the context behind it, but like the way it was like the most cliche thing. And I think me and Kid talked about it when the chapter came out, My Hero Academia, where he's like, I am a hero and blah blah blah. And you know what character I'm talking about in the overall arc, in that way it sounded so cheesy, but it worked so well with My Hero Academia. like he's like, I am the hero, and like, or like he said something like capes are made to protect little girls or something like that. It was like the most cheesiest line, but it worked so well with My Hero Academia, and it gave off such a good vibe.
Yeah,
And it's like
definitely.
it's taking back those old cheesy tropes and like doing such a good job with it.
Yeah, and that's what people love. People just love stuff like that, and that's what get them invested. Like series like Black Clover Hero.
And I think this is where like My Hero Academia and Black Clover are gonna come into their own. Is as the series goes on, it's gonna come to a point where they finally find their own direction.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
they'll finally get to a point where they'll be able to separate it, and people will be like, okay, it's not a generic shonen.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
like look in the past as well. Like when Pokemon came around, look at how many like things popped up that were slightly similar in a degree to Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon was originally called Pocket Monsters. Then a
Yeah.
show comes out called Digimon Digital Monsters. And then, granted, you have Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, which is based around monsters that are in cards. So, I mean, they all, like, kind of have the same thing, the same kind of concept, but kind of twist it. So, I mean, I can't speak on Black Clover, but I'm sure even with it being generic, there's probably still stuff there that still makes it somewhat different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely for sure.
And I
And-
think another subgenre that's blown up in the last 4 or 5 years that was always doing its own thing, but it never got popular until Sword Art Online. The whole isekai genre, which is, if you don't know what isekai is like going to another world,
Yeah.
like being teleported to the world. And now look at all the shows, like just this season, right? Or like in the last couple of years, you have ReZero, you have
Yeah.
Konosuba, you have what was the one that got really popular this year? It's like slipping my mind. It's
the game one, right?
There's another one. Like,
I know
spring
there's
season.
Log Horizon. There's like plenty.
Yeah.
Like it's a
Yeah.
genre that's really blown up. And then SAO, whatever you want to say about it, whatever you think about it, it's like it was a decent
Yeah.
virtual world, and it's the one that blew it up. But then you see all these smaller ones come out of nowhere, like ReZero, which takes it and like does it so well. Like it wasn't the first one to do it. It's nothing like original,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it took it and it just did it super well. And I know I remember Kid watching it with him. He was like, started off, he's like, oh, it's a 7. He watches a few more episodes, it's an 8. Gets halfway through, he's like, it's a 9. And then he finishes like, all right, it's a masterpiece. And
Yeah.
that's like exactly how I felt about ReZero. Is like it was like decent, and then as you get further and further into ReZero, it
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Yeah.
just did it so amazingly.
So
Definitely, for
ironically,
sure.
the reason I watched Sword Art Online was because of a show that came out quite a while ago. I would say like 90s, early 2000s, as Dot Hack. So it's a series that pretty much has the exact same concept to a T, but came out before Sword Art. Some of the Dot Hack things, like if you die in the game of Dot Hack, you die in real life. So it's interesting that Sword Art Online took that concept, but was able to make it more public than like Dot Hack. Don't get me wrong.
But yeah, it's
Dot
just how
Hack,
much of social media has blown up, man.
yeah,
Like if you think about how One Piece is not that big in the West, if One Piece came out now, it would be so big in the West.
yeah.
Like if
so,
it came out 2-3 years ago, My Hero Academia just came on the right time and place where
Yeah,
it
it came
literally
out-
came right as Naruto ended.
Yeah.
And like so many people were moving on, and then so many people were discovering. It was literally the My Hero Academia could have not come out in a better time and
I
place.
wouldn't be surprised if Horikoshi had that planned out.
So the one thing I have to say about Dot Hack is it came out in the era of like PlayStation 2 when you had like the Dragon Quest games, you had like the Dot Hack games, and they're JRPGs, and at that time JRPGs hadn't really taken off yet. So you got those games from Dot Hack, and then it went silent like after that. We recently did get a Dot Hack game for like PS4, I believe, and it's the first one in like a while. I don't know if they had made more prior to that, just because clearly it wasn't coming out in America, so I really didn't get a chance to play anything after that. But Dot Hack kind of had the treatment that Dragon Quest had, unfortunately, where it just didn't hit the Western audience because RPGs weren't like massive yet. at that time. I mean, you had Final Fantasy and it was doing good. Like, don't get me wrong, it was doing good, but other than that, you didn't really like have RPGs get that big. But I mean, like, once like things like Kingdom Hearts started coming out and games towards that line, you kind of saw a shift in that. So
Yeah,
it's
what's
kind of
cool about
unfortunate.
Kingdom Hearts is like something like Kingdom Hearts, for example, catching second, third wins. It's like Kingdom Hearts Heaven Base is very dedicated and popular, right? But I'm just thinking like a person like me who's never played a Kingdom Hearts game, how many more people are about to like jump on the hype train and like play all the previous Kingdom Hearts game to play Kingdom Hearts 3 because there's so many people saying good things about it. And that's the cool thing. I mean, like, obviously it sucks for those people that have been waiting over a decade for it. But I mean, I feel like the payoff is gonna be worth it because like the game just looks incredible.
Imagine this concept though. So basically, Square Enix fused Final Fantasy with Disney. Imagine if they fused Final Fantasy with Shonen Jump, and they had like kind of like what they do, kind of similar to what they do in Kingdom Hearts, but with Shonen Jump, where they're going to the different jump worlds.
Yeah, so my concept was like of an amazing manga series, and I don't know, he would have to go through. But the concept I loved was imagine you get like whatever you want to call it, like call it Shonen Jump Warriors for hypothetical reasons, and where all the superheroes came together. Oh, not the superheroes. All the Shonen Jump characters came together in one verse, like Naruto, Goku, Luffy, all the Shonen characters, right? All the like big ones, and they're literally like the Shonen Jump Avengers essentially, and they have like all this you have to go big. Essentially, that's like the same. And how dope would that be?
Yeah.
Like seeing like Goku, Luffy, and Naruto fight side by side. That sounds so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's so I think it was One Piece had the crossover with Toriko and Dragon Ball. Yeah.
But the only reason they were able to do that is because they're all done by Toei Animation.
Yeah. But that was pretty funny, like the race thing. I didn't watch like the whole thing, but I
don't know
like,
if Shueisha has ever thought of that or like potentially think of doing that, but like they need to, like, Shueisha, which is the company of Shonen Jump, they own all these like names. They could literally take all these names and make a manga in itself. Like they just need to come with a very genius author to take all these series and make them.
Or they just all work on it.
I guess it's like a group project.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would be like profitable. Like, honestly.
Oh, 100,000%. You're bringing in fans from every series onto one. That's going to be one of the biggest, like, easily the biggest series in the series.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I could think of, One Piece ongoing, that could pass One Piece. Is making a series where it also includes One Piece, and a series where all the Shonen Jump characters become a series.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be
like the Avengers, but Jump.
Yeah.
Where they all go on adventures with each other and stuff.
Well, whatever they do, adventures, like they fight big villains. Imagine having like Madara, Uchiha, Miriam, and like Blackbeard all together. Like that sounds absolutely insane.
It'd be interesting if like so it would like have to do with something of like an enemy or something that somehow they could introduce in all of the series, you know? And then like people are wondering, wait, what? That I just saw that same enemy in like Boruto or something that I just saw in the One Piece episode, and then everyone's like, what the heck? Because they just like beat up the like main character or something and just move on or something.
And even on top of that, it would only help every other series, right? Because like now that someone's reading a series that only for that specific series, they're gonna be like, oh, who's that cool character? And now they're gonna go check out that series. It would literally be only beneficial to literally everyone.
But imagine like, so an enemy is just like traveling kind of like the universe in a sense, and like alternate universes, trying to find like the strongest character, like the strongest person to like fight or something like that. And then eventually it starts getting so bored that it decides to start destroying universes because it's so powerful. And then all of the jump.
You know what we need to do? We
All
need
right,
to get our
trademark
cloud, we need to get our cloud up so high that we could book an appointment with the head of
Yeah.
Shueisha and have a meeting with them. We sit in the
Yeah.
boardroom and we're like, here's our idea. We don't care if you don't give us a single dollar. Make this a thing.
Yeah, if you guys happen to watch this podcast, you can check out our business email, business at animeavenue.co. I'll only need, I'll say 30%. That might be fair. I'll take 30%. You can have the idea. I mapped it out for you. It's fine. We can just call it there, and I'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
We don't mind a sponsorship too. You can pay us to promote it.
Okay.
Whatever you think.
Let's.
Yeah, whatever you think is the best.
Happens like gone full on sellout. He just goes into a 5-minute promotion. Like,
Yeah.
guys, if also since we're here, you might as well
Yeah.
go down to the description right now. Subscribe to all my channels.
Yeah.
And actually, we're about to get super chat soon, so make sure you
Yeah.
send your super
We're
chats.
about to open up a Patreon in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Donate
Yeah.
like
We'll
and a
make sure we
GoFundMe.
post
give you some
GoFundMe
nice
it.
give you some nice pictures for $10.
All right.
Oh no. Well,
All right.
thigh pictures.
But like, pretty much like what I want to say about the thing that we're talking about here is like it's just best to like enjoy the series for like what they are, because it's like, I don't know, it's like in my opinion, like it's fine to have debates and all if you want to discuss something, but it's like at the end of the day, it's just best to just enjoy things for what they
The
are.
bottom line is, guys, stop freaking getting so up in your panties in a bunch and just enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like all of us know deep down what the
Uh-huh.
best thing is. You just gotta accept it. Like,
Exactly.
just face it. Boku no
Boruto
Pico.
sucks. Come
Boku
on.
no Pico is the best anime. Just face it.
Yeah.
Cory,
And Boruto's the worst. It's
Cory in the
awful.
House is one of the best live action
Oh.
anime series of all time. You
Dude,
just gotta
best
face
Netflix
it.
adaptation.
You
Best
just
Netflix adaptation
Yeah.
is probably Drake and Josh.
yeah. I mean, you just have to face
Dude,
it.
What if they did an anime adaptation of Josh?
Dude, you just have to face it that when Disney was able to collab with Netflix and bring Drake and Josh to Netflix, that it was the best.
It wasn't on Drake and Josh.
I know,
was like,
that's the joke.
okay.
And
I was,
Drake
like, kind of
and
worried
Drake
there
and
for a
Josh
second.
Drake and Josh also isn't on Netflix either.
Dude, hold on. I just realized. Imagine Drake and Josh were like, and you're watching Disney Channel and they draw the like the Mickey Mouse.
Oh
ears.
no. Oh no.
And then they mess up and they're like,
Megan. Oh
I can see that.
no.
I mean, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah.
Black Clover, My Hero, whatever you like more. They're both decent.
Yeah, that's
series.
fine.
Like
Yeah.
what you like.
But Black Clover is better. So if you have anything else to say besides that, you're dumb. Don't talk to me. Don't at me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed that little clickbait that we got you guys on. Suckers. You clicked. We got you. You can't take it back. We wasted your time. You watched. We won. That's it. Bot. No. Imagine I just end it like that.
People are actually gonna take you seriously, and it's
Wait,
gonna
the
be
stream
like,
actually
I
just
can't
ended.
No.
believe this. Can't
It
believe
actually
this
just ended.
scumbag. Did it?
No, I'm just kidding, guys. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you guys for showing up. We appreciate you guys in the chat for
Yeah.
talking to us, letting us know some stuff that we didn't
Yeah.
know.
We appreciate all the support. We love all you guys.
Yeah, check out all our links in the description. Our website where we post news. We have different articles. We have anime air dates. Anything you can think of, it's there. It's the best anime website. You can
got our-
quote me on that. It is. Don't
We got our own.
don't argue it.
We got our own Discord server as well, which is probably the best Discord server you're ever
Yeah.
gonna join.
Only
so-
we talk in it about once a month. So if you're
I mean, if
interested
people,
in that,
yo, by the way, if anyone ever wants to strike up a conversation, feel free to add us anytime.
Yeah,
Like, I
definitely
don't
for
mind.
sure.
yeah.
I talk about on my videos too when I'm talking about like the Discord service. Like, you guys ever want to talk to us, get the chance to know us or anything like that, just make sure to hit us up. 'Cause
Yeah.
we have no problem talking to people. It's not like we're one of those people that just see you in the chat and we're not gonna hop in and say hi. Like,
Yeah.
talk to us.
You can add us at any time. I'm probably the only one that's going to answer, but hey, if you didn't want to
see, the
talk
thing
to
with
me,
me is-
that sucks.
Yeah, all right, but see, the thing with me is,
No,
is
he's-
like I'm in like 50 servers and I get added all the time. It's not even about ignoring. It's like I don't hear the sound, but when
Yeah.
if I don't look over, I won't notice.
Yeah, but we're
Yeah.
going to wrap it up here, guys. Like I said, all of the links are in the description, our website stuff, these guys' stuff, my stuff. Check it out. If you ain't there, you're square.
And you ain't square.
See
Yeah,
you guys
you're-
later. Peace out.
Yeah,
Pizza
yeet.
time.